Let's talk about the team that Minnesota is going to face next, the Mavericks. Look, that was a hard-fought series, came right down to the very end of the very last game. They beat the Clippers. They beat the Thunder from the position of being a 5 seed. And I don't know. What do you guys make of that series coming up?
Yeah. It's gonna be a good series, man. You see Anthony Edwards already say, my matchup is Kyrie, so I'm gonna see what he can do. He can do with this. So like that type of energy, look, that type of energy rubs off on your teammates. Like if your head leader's already saying stuff like that, you like, all right, let's get it cracking. So it's gonna be a good series. Luka and Kyrie is gonna be something special in the Western Conference Finals. You've seen that they pulled that together against a tough and well-coached OKC team. But it's something with them Timberwolves. Like they're not afraid to say anything. They're not afraid to rub anybody's feathers wrong. Like they're not trying to be nobody's friend. Like they really accepting the challenge of anybody and everybody, and they're standing on business. Like they're standing on business when it comes to the talk and talking the talk, but walking the walk. But you definitely got to know it's going to be tough. It's not going to be easy because the Dallas Mavericks are well coached. They got some young guys that are playing out of their mind and lively, and PJ Washington, guys that's never seen the playoffs, is taking advantage of their opportunity. So I got Minnesota, but I think it's going to go 6 to 7 games for sure. It's going to be back and forth and a lot of good action in this series. Like I can't wait for the competition for sure.
I think well, one, I'm a firm believer in, defense wins championships. And obviously I feel like the best defensive team coming out of the West is the Minnesota Timberwolves. Once again, I spoke on the kid earlier. I think Jaden McDaniels, this is another opportunity for him to display his defensive talent. I think that matchup between him and Luka will explain a lot. I think he'll make the game very tough for Luka. A 6'11" frame, I don't think Luka's used to that type of a defensive matchup. I think what helped Dallas, getting through this last series, outside of their star play in Kyrie and Luka, was the big man matchup. I think their bigs just had way more experience than a young Chet Holmgren. That's not necessarily the case when it comes to Minnesota's bigs.
That's for sure.
Minnesota bigs, they're the real deal. So I don't think they're as dominant when it comes to a Rudy Gobert, a Naj Reid, and a Karl Anthony Towns. I think their responsibilities become a lot tougher this round. So for me, I see Minnesota coming out of the West. I do think the games will go to a 6 or 7 game series, but for me, I see Minnesota pulling out this series.
I think that's going to be an amazing playoff series. I am going to be glued to my television. You're totally right about the defensive efforts. And Anthony Edwards, when he wasn't shooting last night, played great defense. And the ability to do that it's for a young player. I think we don't see that often. We don't see them buckling down and being like, great, what else can I do? They get a little obsessed with their shot. They keep trying to force it. And instead, he played great defense. So that matchup between him and Kyrie, which, it's just unbelievable that he
Look, it's going to be box office. It's going to be box office. That's how you can tell nobody's calling Kyrie Irving out. Like, nobody's doing that. Nobody's accepting that challenge like that defensively. So there's something in the water over in Minnesota. Like, them boys is ready. Not saying he's going to stop Kyrie, but, like, to have that type of confidence, it's like, let's get it cracking. So that's big time of a 22-year-old to do something like that.
Yeah, a 22-year-old to call out a future Hall of Famer and be like, and by the way, one of the best guy around the hoop that we've ever seen.
For sure.
Great handles, the whole nine. So I just for him to do that, and I'm curious how Kyrie will respond, because especially the back half of that series with Oklahoma City, he was the whole series. He was never able to have a breakout game because the Thunder. They are a legit defensive force, and the team defense they play is really strong, and they were able to buckle down on Kyrie in a way that he really hadn't seen in these playoffs. He had some breakout games against the Clippers That did not happen in this last series. So the defense is only getting better. Minnesota, the number one defense in the league this year, anchored by the Defensive Player of the Year. And I know the controversy over that, but you can't argue with where Minnesota finished. And I just think it will be a very different series for them. I do think, though, that team is so finely tuned and built around Luka Doncic. And I think that we need to give Nico Harrison credit for that, because first-time GM, there was some criticism of some of his early moves, obviously the Jalen Brunson thing, and I honestly don't remember if Nico was there for that, but it was a move from ownership. That there's been criticism of what Dallas has done with their personnel over recent years, and the fact that they were able to make the trades at the deadline, have confidence in those trades when not everybody did, and get those role players playing as well as they did. I don't know. I think it's going to be a great series. I'm very excited about it. I do want to, by the way, just call out before we move on to the East. You mentioned Derek Lively, and he posted on Instagram last night about his mom, who died of cancer earlier this year. I think she was just 52, just really, really sad and difficult. And he just basically said, I love you. I miss you. Just sit back and watch, Mama. And that was, to be able to play the way he does, considering some of the personal stuff he's gone through and who he's playing for, I think is really touching and effective so far.
For sure. He's doing his thing during a tough situation. He's doing his thing. So shout out to him for sure.
Isaiah, you know all about that. I mean, you were dealing with the death of your sister, and sometimes those tragedies can undo you or they can power you. And what he's been able to do has been exceptional, just like with you. So I'm very impressed.
And, being around your teammates in these hostile environments, that just only makes it, that much, a little easier, because you got your brothers around you, supporting you, helping you through those tough times. I be feeling like, especially when I was going through it, it's like when you get back to the crib, that's when that shit's tough. When you're around your teammates and around the arena and all that love, that's like helping him out as much as it can. So, shout out to him, prayers to him and his family. Good luck moving forward as well.